Hey, I'm Brian. Welcome to Pastor Reacts. Today we've got a video from Sunday Cool Studios, an amazing character they do named Cool Carll. He's doing a last minute sermon idea, and these are hilarious. Heads up to anybody. I'm going to go ahead and confess and admit that I am a Sunday Cool ambassador. So I do have some incentive to promote them, but I don't get anything for making this video. This hat is from Sunday Cool. They have all sorts of rad stuff. If you want to buy their stuff, hit them up at sundaycool.com. And I'm also rocking, might as well mention it, the Cancel Your Reactionism shirt from the Be Rad for Jesus podcast, which is another podcast that I host. So all that to say, you can check out beradforjesus.com or find it here on YouTube. But let's get to Pastor Reacts with Cool Carll. So let's get to Pastor Reacts.
One eternity later.
So let's get to our video.
Hi there, little chicken nuggets. It's me, Carll. Good to see you. Now, a little birdie told me that y'all might need some help with a last-minute sermon. I get it, all right. I mean, you got a lot on your plate, and sometimes you need someone to throw you a good old life preserver. Well, heads up, Captain Carll was here. Some people out there think that you can't just take any old subject and point it back to Jesus. But that's where those people are wrong. And to prove it to you, I'm going to take the most obscure and difficult subject and make a lesson out of it. So I present to you the last-minute sermon on Ohio.
What? Hang on. Yeah. Okay. So as a youth pastor, there are for sure times where you are doing sermon ideas off of literally anything or trying to find things coming back to it. We used to call it Jesus juking, right? Like, it doesn't matter what we're talking about. We're going to Jesus juke and just out of nowhere, like, whoa, turn it back to Jesus. But I can't wait to hear what a sermon about Ohio becomes. This is going to be absolutely ridiculous.
Ohio. Oh, hi, yo. Did you know that Ohio is
So
the
lame.
duct tape capital of the world? They say that if duct tape can't fix it, you didn't use enough duct tape. But I say if duct tape can't fix it, Jesus can. Because if there's one thing I know about God, is that he can save me from my sin.
Wait. We're going to have to go back a little bit on that.
No.
I'm definitely going to have to go back and play some of that a little bit again, because if duct tape can't fix it, Jesus can. It's so cheesy. I mean, like, there's some truth in that, but that's so funny, so on point for the kind of bad illustrations that you hear from, especially, unfortunately, youth pastors sometimes. And man, why don't youth pastors do a better job sometimes? Not all of them. A lot of them are great. I put a lot of effort into not being that kind of youth pastor, but I have seen and encountered some really bad connection illustrations like that are just like, why didn't you come up with something good and worthwhile and biblical? And so I love the mockery and joking here, because this is so true. This is totally the kind of weak illustration and connection that you hear in some sermons, and not just youth pastors. There's some people out there on YouTube and TV and stuff that have that kind of just ridiculous, like bad wordplay that leads you into a supposed illustration. And so we're going to back this up just a hair, and then let's go. All right.
The thing I know about God is that he can save me from my Cincinnati. Did you know that the people that invented the first airplane, the Wright brothers, they're from Ohio? So was the first man who stepped on the moon, Neil Armstrong. Now, I've never been, but it seems like Ohio must be pretty awful if people are just doing whatever they have to do to leave.
Because the Wright brothers and Neil Armstrong, everybody's trying to fly, so it must be pretty terrible. Oh man, no dig to Ohio. Cincinnati's a cool city. I've been there, but that was funny.
But yet there's some of us that are still living lives full of suffering and pain without hope. What are you doing to leave? Maybe it's about time you start flapping your spiritual wings, or rocket yourself out of despair. with this. One small step for man, one lesser step for Ohio. Ohio's not.
What? I don't even know what that joke was supposed to be. But again, oh my gosh, but he's totally nailing like just the weird, like, and maybe you need to fly. And it's like, what is that about? I don't understand what that illustration is really meaning. Like, what is the point of like flying out and leave and you need to rocket out of despair? And like, okay, and with this, here's the Bible. And man, just nailing the weird analogies that come out in sermons sometimes. Man, they both line up with, there's no Bible to it. And it was a weird, weak connection to the spiritual point. This is dead on, unfortunately. This is a hilarious joke, but I've heard real stuff that's way too close to this.
Known as the Buckeye State. And I don't even know what a Buckeye is. And that scares me. Like Satan. All the famous people from Ohio. Surely we can't point those people back to Jesus. Right? Wrong. And don't call me Lee. Sarah Jessica Parker. That's a person with 3 first names. Well, I got someone with 3 names I want to introduce you to. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Steven Spielberg, the guy who directed E.T. But I know someone who directed this universe to create an E.T. An eternal transportation.
Oh,
heaven.
So bad. Oh.
And finally, arguably the greatest artist of all time, Bow Wow. He's from Ohio. Bow Wow?
It's a chicka wow.
No, it's more like we should bow now on our knees and ask for forgiveness.
I can't handle it. It's wow. Oh my gosh. Carl. So funny.
See, Ohio may be a lawless Midwestern state that is the home of rock and roll, LeBron, and the NFL. But do you know what's really rock and roll? Salvation. Do you know what the NFL really stands for? Never forget love.
Look, again, something that people do way too much. Like all of these weird leaps of logic are, said emotionally. And then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, wow, like that's deep, which is, there's elements of this that sound like they have a whole series of videos that are on Christian influencers, and they're just like over emotional, like deep voice kind of, but what about this? And it's like weird wordplay, leaps of logic that, these weird connections that don't. And there's a lot of people like that on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and stuff. But like, man, churches have been doing this weird rebranding or reuse of existing acronyms and words and logos and stuff. And man, turning the NFL into never forget. You know what it really stands for? Never forget love. No, just let it be its own thing and talk about how to engage that. Anyway, he's being funny, but too many people say stuff like that. And it's funnier and harder to hear because it's too true, too real.
And as far as LeBron goes, I know who the real
LeBron, I think it's
the realest.
That was Larry Bird.
Goat.
Wait. Hang on.
No.
Love. And as far as LeBron goes,
it says, I've got it cropped off but it says LeBron, I think, next to a picture of Larry Bird. Like, not even the same generation of basketball players. I love it. And why is he talking about LeBron? How is he talking about LeBron? Hang on.
Do you know what the NFL really stands for? Never forget love. And as far as LeBron goes, I know who the real King James is. And heeth, the realeth, goateth, goat, or lamb, if you catch my drift.
And he is the real goateth or goat or lamb. So that was the connection, was LeBron James to the King James Bible to trying to speak. It's so good. There's so many, like every line is a different leap into some other. But man, I've heard people preach like that. It's really funny, except that it's real.
He wroteth the Bible, if King James. That's a baller. So in closing,
King
even
James
though I
did not
have
write the
doubts
Bible.
that Ohio even exists, I mean, Akron, come on, that's pronounced acorn, and that's a nut that grows a tree. But do you want to see a nut who believes in the tree? The Holy Trinity? Right here.
No.
Hi.
No, the Holy Trinity. Hang on. Oh, did you hear that again?
That's acorn, and that's a nut that grows a tree. But do you want to see a nut who believes in the tree? The Holy Trinity? Right here. Hi. I'm a nut. So even though Ohio doesn't
I'm a
exist,
nut.
Jesus does.
Even though Ohio
He
doesn't
wants
exist.
you to visit him in heaven. Population? Probably more than Ohio. Ohio doesn't exist. It's a made-up place. That's it. Hey, y'all, it's been a while. And if you enjoyed this and you want to see more of me,
Oh my
maybe comment
gosh.
below. Maybe say, hey, Carl, come back. Come back and just tell us what you want to tell us. Whenever you want to tell us. If you felt encouraged by this, I urge you to share it.
Oh my
Share it with the
gosh.
made-up people of Ohio. Because they need to have their eyes open to
I've
the
been to
fact that
Ohio. It's
They
real.
live in a place that doesn't exist. It's made up. I've never seen an Ohio. I've never met anyone from Ohio. It's all
The Bengals.
a bunch of NPCs
No.
as far as I'm concerned.
A bunch of
concerned.
NPCs.
So make sure to like and subscribe, and maybe check out Sunday Cool if you need a t-shirt order of any sorts for
That's
your
what I'm saying.
group
Do
or
that.
your
Do that.
whatever. Or if you need water bottles or hats, stickers even.
Hats.
We got
Custom
it all.
patches.
That's Sunday Cool. Okay. Was it good? That was good?
It was fine. Yeah, it was good.
I don't
It's
know.
fine.
That was pretty good.
I thought it was all right. Yeah. I mean, it's been a while, so
Yeah, I was just stretching out the brain.
brushing away the cobwebs.
Corn can't make webs.
Cobwebs.
Yeah,
Cobwebs.
corn on the cob. cobwebs.
Corn
There's no-
can't
there's
make
no-
webs.
Didn't say corn. Corn's in Ohio. A lot of corn there.
I
Or is
don't-
that Iowa?
That's Iowa.
Is Iowa and Ohio the same place?
Could be. That could be the mistake. Idaho.
Ooh.
Idaho. Idaho.
Okay. Oh man, so funny. So you heard the ad, Sunday Cool. They're hilarious. Carll, their lead ambassador of insanity, and inane commentary on things. Gosh, so funny. But look, people, just because you had a random like free word association doesn't mean it was a good Bible pointer, that it was deep. And so don't listen to that kind of thing in real life. It's great for jokes. Highly recommend subscribing and following Sunday Cool on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the things. Listen to their podcast, Ninjas or Butterflies. It's funnier and better than me. But with when it comes to real sermons or teaching or even just making a video, don't, unless it's a joke, don't go for the cheap connection that doesn't really mean anything just to point it back to Jesus in some meaningless way. Because the thing is beyond just silly wordplay, there are actual real ways that Christ can and should be engaging everything in our lives. And we should be engaging everything around us through the lens of Jesus. So I just want to leave it with that to encourage people to look through a biblical lens and find those kinds of connections there rather than, these silly word association kind of things that even lead to meaningless spiritual points a lot of the time, or miss the point of the actual text when they are applied to scripture. So let's not go for that. It's not that cool. Maybe it's good for a laugh, but beyond that, it's not good for teaching. It's not good for a sermon. And the Bible is worth more than cheap connections like that. Jesus is worth following better than that and teaching better than that. And the people that you may influence, if you do any sort of teaching or influencing or study leading of any sort, the people who need Jesus in their lives deserve better than that. So do better in the name of Jesus. Go on, be rad for Jesus. Like and subscribe. Drop a comment. What do you think? Or even what are some of the worst connections you've heard? And let me know in the comments. That's it for this episode of Pastor Reacts. Be rad for Jesus. Catch you next time. Peace.